kick off by asking you about what we're seeing in the energy markets today and how that really is hand in hand with policies, certainly from the U.S. government, but in terms of the geopolitics as well. Energy and geopolitics now are hand in hand. What's your take?
I think this is one of the most fascinating times that we've seen in terms of the energy world or energy pricing, because you have politics playing, which is Iran and sanctions. You have technology playing. You have a Chinese slowdown that could have a huge impact on the energy market. And then you have, in the United States, you have to be of a divided mind, because on the one hand, you don't want prices to go too low. You want people to continue to create wealth in the fracking sector and the energy sector. If prices go high, you're helping Iran, you're helping Russia, and so it really is a fascinating geopolitical time, fascinating time in terms of technology, and fascinating time in the politics of global energy markets.
When you're sitting in Washington and you're seeing the daily Twitter fests coming from the administration, how worried are you about sending the wrong message, not just to the global markets, but also to our allies, particularly in this region?
I think this was a confusing couple of weeks for our allies in the Middle East. On the one hand, you have a tweet from the president about withdrawal of U.S. troops from Syria. After months of working together with our allies in the Arab world, with the interagency and State Department, Pentagon, and suddenly everything's changed with a single tweet. On the other hand, Secretary Pompeo comes to Cairo, doubles down on standing by our Sunni Arab allies, by Israel in the region, doubles down on containing Iran. And so there's a nervousness. One wants to believe that message, but I'm hearing from senior officials in the Middle East more concern about American predictability over time. So they want to believe there's this permanent shift on behalf of allies to stand up to Iran. There are a lot of signs that that's really there, but they're made nervous by the Syria shift.
And when you take a step back and look at the more broadly at the energy picture, I think it's been really interesting over the last couple of years, the conversations surrounding Saudi Arabia's desire to go nuclear and what that will mean for the United States in particular and for the region in terms of an arms race. It's something that nobody wants to see, but at the same time, nobody really understands yet from the administration what's going to happen next there, because there's already been pushback from Capitol Hill. What do you see going forward?
This is a really hard question to answer because it's a moving target. And the Khashoggi situation has made it all the more complicated. Saudi Arabia will go ahead. It will develop a nuclear energy capability. It wants to have the right for enrichment, and it says openly to Americans, if you're looking at your long-range deal with Iran, Iran is going to have that. We have the resources on our own soil. Why shouldn't we go there? And so the United States has a choice to make. Congress has a choice to make, and that is, does one give Saudi Arabia a pass so it can go forward with something a little bit different than the gold standard that Abu Dhabi has had, which would allow it to do some enrichment? Or does it not? And then does Saudi Arabia go with suppliers, Chinese, Russians, Koreans? Koreans would be a good alternative possibility. But the U.S. could lose the ability to influence the Saudi nuclear future by not going along with Saudi Arabia. So I think the next 6 months to a year are going to be very interesting to watch in terms of U.S.-Saudi relations regarding nuclear energy.